All right, aloha guys, Eric West here, HawaiiRealEstate.org, coming to you live from the beautiful island of Maui, Hawaii. Look who I'm here with. Fish has shown up at my home, and we're so thankful to see him again. And we had an opportunity to take all the money that you've given to Fish, and we put it into his hands in the form of cash. You want to show it to him, Fish? Just so you know, your money, your donations are going right into the hands of the people that you've given the money to. So that's $1,000. There's probably more coming Fish's direction. And in this video, when Fish gets done telling his story, I'm going to put some information in the description that if you want to be directly connected to Fish, I'm going to give you his cell phone number or his email address or whatever he's comfortable with so that you can connect directly to him. The organization I'm with is Maui LFG. Let's find the gap. And obviously one of the gaps in these types of crisis is getting money to the people that actually need it versus giving it to places like the Red Cross, and these organizations, as we know, don't always give the money to the people that need it. So that's our commitment, is to give the money directly and prove it on video and share those video experiences, and then also connect victims like Fish to people like you on the mainland or around the world that want to continue support, because people are not going to need just one donation. They might need a text message, they might need a batch of cookies, they might need someone to talk to, or certainly ongoing gift cards and things that you can do financially. But I want to thank you guys ahead of time for helping Fish, for listening to his story. He kind of went viral when he shared what happened on Front Street the other day. It was a complete surprise that he showed up at the end of that, at that live. And I believe it was God's timing that you were there. I don't think there's any mistakes, right? And we're here to align with truth and love and to bring transparency to what happened here on Maui. We're not conspiracy theorists. We simply just want to tell you, the world, what's happening. And I believe Fish has been selected to be sort of the first eyewitness to what happened, to tell you what happened that day, because he was there on Front Street, right where all the cars were piled up. He was able to escape, and obviously he's alive. And he's going to share a little bit what happened since that time and some of the gaps that he's seen out here, some of the things that have been successful with a FEMA application. But he'll tell the story about the FEMA sign, and then also anything Fish has to say from his heart to the people of the world in terms of this crisis and what he thinks is going on, maybe, or how the best suggestions you have for helping. So without any further ado, Fish, I'm just going to ask you a couple questions and just give me some perspective, if you will, of what happened that day that you were on Front Street, and just kind of walk us through it.
Okay.
So you were down on Front Street that day, walking, going somewhere. What were you up to? Were you getting ready to go weave, or what were you doing that day?
Well, it was very windy, so I decided I wouldn't be able to weave that day. So I left most of my stuff at my camp, and I walked to the bus stop, but the bus never came. And so I walked to Safeway, and the electricity was off. It was dark inside, and so I went in. They were still doing business. They had a big line. I had to wait hour and a half to get an orange juice to drink. And I had no idea there was a fire at all. It was just high winds. So it must have been somewhere around 4 o'clock or afterwards. I noticed a lot of people gathering at the door and looking out. So I went and looked, and I saw the fire across the street at the gateway, and you couldn't even see the gateway because the smoke was so thick. I'd never seen such dark smoke in my life.
Lahaina Gateway being the shopping center,
right,
with the Foodland Farms on the bypass. Yeah.
Right. I thought it was gone. There was power lines blocking the road, and so I decided that I looked around and I told people, I said, we should get out of here with these high winds. It could be here in just a couple minutes. And they just kind of stood around looking. So I walked around back of Safeway to Front Street, and I noticed all the cars were lined up all the way into town. And so I started walking towards the highway, on the chart house on Front Street, and there were a few people walking in front of me, one of them with a stroller, and the people in the cars were saying, would you like a ride? And they all got in. And they asked me, I said, no, there's a fire back there. You guys better get moving.
And how many cars were on Front Street at that time, would you say?
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yeah,
so just
as
packed.
far back as you could see. And so I kept walking towards the highway, towards the chart house. I figured there must be a pole down or something there to keep the cars from going out. And the closer I got, I realized there wasn't nothing obstructing the traffic. There was just a policeman there. And I started wondering myself if he was going to let me get out. But I looked up the highway and I saw a bicyclist and another person walking. I went, okay, they got out. But I was wondering, why are they keeping the cars here? Because they had all the traffic coming from the north stopped, but all the traffic going to the north, there was nothing obstructing it at all. Nothing, you know, nothing.
So would they? So there were some power lines that were down right there at Waihikuli by where the chart house is.
Well, no, there weren't.
There weren't. At that time, there was not.
There was not. As far as I don't know if they came down later, but at
Okay.
the moment I walked there were no power lines. There was nothing obstructing the traffic from going out up north.
So about what time would you say that was, to the best of your recollection?
It was after 4.
After 4 o'clock, and
I
you're saying
believe.
Front Street is packed with cars.
It's all packed all the
they-
way down, because when I came out of the back of Safeway, I looked, and as far as I could see, there were cars that way, and there were cars all the way to the end where the chart house was at. And when I got there, the cop who was there, I'm sure he couldn't see what was down the road, you know, because of the way the
The way
intersection
it turns,
was there.
it curves right there.
But I didn't see any reason or anything to prevent the cars from leaving. There was nothing obstructing it.
Was there one police car there or 2?
No police cars,
Oh.
just a policeman.
So what was blocking the road? Just him?
Just him. He was there in the front.
So why do you suppose people wouldn't just go, I mean, I'm sure they eventually did, but why would they not just go around him? Do you think that eventually they did go around him?
I would imagine when the fire, I wasn't there, but
Right,
when you see a fire, I mean, you're going to go.
right.
You know,
I was
but-
told by the owners of Island Lock and Safe, they spoke a couple days ago on this live, and they said when they were trying to leave Lahaina town, each exit had 2 police cars that were blockading the exit. So you didn't see that. You just saw one policeman standing there. You didn't see 2 cars blocking the blockade, like blocking the exits.
No.
Just one guy saying, no, you can't come here.
Right.
Got you. Okay, got you. And so then what happened?
Well, I walked past him, and I kept, every 2 minutes or every few minutes, I kept looking back. I didn't see anybody walk out, didn't see anyone on bicycle, didn't see any of the cars coming out at all. And so I got up to where the traffic was stopped coming from the north, and I'm looking up north, and I'm wondering, why aren't they letting them out? And
So these are the cars that are coming down from Kapalua,
yeah, they had them stopped about a half a mile away from Front Street.
So were
where-
they stopped at the police station exit? Like
No,
kinda
no,
where-
they were all the way, they were stopped right at the point where when you're coming from the north, there's a turnoff to go onto Front Street. You know, just before that.
Just before that. Okay, so
And so-
about where the guy with the sign that sits all the time that says Jesus, about there?
Further down.
Further down. Okay, so
Yeah.
further down towards the
Yeah,
police
just
station.
about the end of where the ramps are at. You know, you have the
Oh, okay.
ocean and this. So they were all stopped there. And again, I was wondering, are they going to let me through? But I saw some people walking up ahead of them, and I kept looking back, and nothing. Nobody coming out, no cars moving, and I got all the way to around where the fire station was, and that's where, you know, I couldn't see anything anymore. And I just kept walking. And I was just wondering, why are they keeping those cars there? I had no idea what happened afterwards. You know,
Right.
I didn't know until the next day. But it just really perturbed me that why? It just didn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Now, since then, you've had some time to think about it and talk to people and recollect or whatever. Any answers? Do you have any interest, insight, or retrospective thoughts of what they were trying to accomplish with that?
Not really. I just feel guilty of not dressing the cop down or something, you know. I had no idea. And it was not until the next day, a few days after that, it started hitting me about what had happened, that, you know, and I feel guilty.
Right. But there's got to be some logical reason that the cop would try to stop people there, right?
Well, he must have been under orders.
Oh yeah,
you
don't
know.
feel guilty. It's some kind of orders that he was given, but
Yeah.
you couldn't logically see the explanation for it. Is that
No.
all I'm getting at?
No.
Okay.
And I
Well, it's
also had that strange fear that he wasn't going to let me out, and what is going on here? It was, as I said, it's a combination of stupid and evil.
Right.
It's the only way I can describe my feeling about it. It's
Yeah.
just
The explanation. There is not really a logical explanation other
No
than
logical
stupid meets
explanation.
evil. So that night, did you just hunker down because it was blowing 60, 70, and the fire's
Yeah,
raging?
Destroyed my tent. I woke up the next day, I've never been so filthy in my life. Everything was filthy. And so I went and took a shower, and then I saw some people, and I asked them, is Safeway open? And they said, yeah. I said, okay. So I walked into town, and then I realized when I got to Lahaina, the fire had stopped right next to the tennis courts. It had gone that far. I had no idea it did. And as I was walking down the highway, I'm seeing across the highway everything burnt. And I hadn't, oh my, got this far? And then I started thinking about Front Street, and I got to Front Street, and they had it blocked off. And I looked, and I saw no, it wasn't in my head. It's just.
You had no idea that
I had no
was
idea.
the destruction.
I just went shock.
Yeah.
So.
So since then, I'm sorry, Fish. I know I can't even.
Sorry, I've been holding back all this time.
Yeah, there's really not words to express.
Sorry.
Well, I know one thing that the Hawaiian people have asked for graciously in their press conference was giving the people the time to grieve and to have closure to this event, as opposed to just rushing in and accelerating everything and not giving the people the time that they need. Every culture has a different way of handling these situations, and their way needs to be honored, and they feel like they're not being listened to. And the government is just kind of coming in and steamrolling this whole thing and fast-tracking this. And is it okay if we switch gears a little bit and talk about what you think is going on, or do you have any theories or anything you want to share in that regard? Or I mean, I know
I just heard this morning that Biden's given FEMA an extra $12 billion. So, and I mean, what on the front to say, oh, we're giving $200 million to Ukraine, to kill people, and then we're going to give the Hawaiian families $700. One time, $700. I mean, what an insult.
Yeah.
Just, and no comment, ha ha ha. Just right in your face. Just right in your face. You don't even have to be a conspiracy theorist to see, just, and then they, talk about, oh, we're going to use, the state's going to take all the land from the people and all this, and then all the children that's disappeared, and there's just slowly, there's 100, 110, 111, and we know that there's a lot more. It's just,
Right.
This controlled type of releasing of
Data,
information and stuff.
and no transparency.
None.
What about the sirens and the alarms and the FEMA, that whole thing about, oh, if they sound the alarm, we're all trained to think that it's a tsunami when that's nowhere on their website. Their website says it's just for emergency purpose. And tune into your AM, FM radio, check your cell phone for further direction on how to avoid danger. Why is the narrative that they haven't corrected yet from the emergency director talking about this tsunami thing and he doesn't regret turning on the siren? I mean, could you imagine saying that in the wake of all these people that have died? And they don't come out and correct the record?
Plausible deniability. Oh, we thought the people would run into the mountains and run Malka and into the flames.
It's insanity, right?
That's insanity.
That's how they're going to honor.
Is he that stupid that he would do that? But
is it even more insanity that the officials haven't come out and corrected it for the record? The county mayor, the governor, anybody, the police chief, that no one has come on and corrected the record? Is that?
The police chief from Las Vegas, you know what happened there? I mean, there's too many, you know, there's three things. It's called happenstance, you know, coincidence, and enemy action. You know, that's from a James Bond novel. So the happenstance, you know, okay, you know, turn the water off, and then, you know, coincidence, or alarms, all this didn't go off. But then you put everything together, no, that's enemy action.
It doesn't make sense, does it?
Doesn't make sense. It's not to a logical person.
And what about the fact that they just changed the law in Hawaii back in July? They made a proclamation of emergency for housing that lasted 2 months, that now in the event of a natural disaster lifts all rules pertaining to historic districts and building permits, and essentially gives the governor carte blanche to do anything he wants. The fact that that law was just passed a few weeks ago and now we happen to have a natural disaster, is that a coincidence?
It's beyond coincidence. Anytime you look like the Weimar Republic and everything, they had a beautiful constitution, but the weak point, the link point was in case of an emergency. The emergency clause all through history has been used like this.
Really?
You know, so it's that emergency clause you got to watch out for, because that's what they use to, you know, to do what they do, to justify it. So.
Anything you want to say to your Japanese audience out there?
Gomen-nasai, you know, boku no kokoro wa Buddha desu. Gomen boku no bunpa wa gucha gucha. Demo, kawaii so ne. Zenbu kawaii so. Gomen. I can't explain. Wow. That's about all I have to say.
It is? Okay. All right. Thank you, Fish. I appreciate it very much. Seriously, you're a good man. You're an intelligent man. And you have a servant's heart. And I appreciate you. I'm so thankful you're alive. And I want to tell the audience that this is a man worthy of helping. And if you want to, we're going to share some kind of contact information, whatever you're comfortable with, so people can reach out directly and help you. And also, of course, we always have our GoFundMe, which is lahainafirefund.com. If they give and call you out, all that money is going to go directly to you, but we're committed to helping survivors and victims of this crime directly. And you got the $1,000 already, right? So yeah. we're proving that we're putting our money where our mouth is, and we'll document that so that we get rid of all of the naysayers and the haters. But we're here to provide truth and love. Truth and love, that's our mission. Truth and love to the people involved in this, and to fill the gaps where they're needed. One last question, are there any gaps that you see right now for the community? I mean, there's lots of gaps, don't get me wrong, but is there a glaring gap that you're seeing that the government should know that needs to be filled at this moment? Or anything you want to say in regards to a need that you're seeing in the community? You've been out there, you've been sleeping outside even after this has happened. You haven't taken advantage, obviously, of the free hotel rooms. At least I don't think you have. But just so you know, I think you can get a free hotel room right now. But are there any gaps that you see out there that you want to share before we sign off?
The only gap I see is of the truth.
Yeah.
There's a big gap in the truth. The people need to know the truth. You know, just quit lying to us. Just quit lying. That's all.
Okay, well, thanks again. Hey, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Maui Post-Fire Nightmare. And we thank you for watching this. We thank you so much for sharing this video. We need to break the internet. You need to share this on your TikTok, your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your text messages, anything you can come up with to share this, because obviously there is this thing known as suppression. Share it on your Twitter. Please raise the alarm that we still don't have any internet on Maui. There's hardly any phone communication. I'm on a Starlink right now. We need more Starlinks, so we ask you to please help. And if you feel for a guy like Fish, please do give. Like I said, I'm going to put his contact information in the comment section or in the show notes, so you can reach out directly to him. But that's what we're committed to. We're committed to taking money that you give it directly to the survivors, and also to connect you with those individuals so there's ongoing support. It's just not this one-time deal. We've got the 808 Club. You can go there. It's the 808 Aloha LFG Club, and you give 108 or more, 808. That's a good donation. 1,008, 10,008. You can specifically call out a person like Fish to give it to, and we will. And then, go to MauiLFG.org, submit your information as a resource, put in there that you're an 808 Club member, and then we will make that connection. My partner, John Morgan, has created some AI that marries the needs. If you have needs, go to that website. If you're a victim of this fire, go to that website. You can register as someone that needs help. If you're someone that has a resource and you're in the 808 Club or any resource whatsoever, you can go there and click on you have something to offer as a resource, and the AI is going to marry those two. We're creating a database. So we're not just filling the gaps in terms of money, we're trying to fill the gaps in terms of intelligence and bringing together the resources to properly administrate this thing on the go, on the fly. I'm just a real estate agent. John's a life coach. We were just working a week ago, and now we're doing this. So we're doing the best that we can, boots on the ground. So thanks again, Fish. I appreciate it. Much aloha. Can you throw one shaka for Maui? All right. Till next time, guys. Thank you again. Dylan, this is my tech guy.